Okay, so this is short assignment 2 by Haley Wallace. So to clarify what jargon is in layman's term, jargon is special words or expressions that are used by a particular profession or group and are difficult for others to understand. For this assignment, I've decided to look at two different sports, so we will examine soccer and football jargons, and we will mainly focus on Whitecaps and BC Lions, both of which are Canadian teams. For those of you who don't play soccer or football and aren't familiar with the teams, this jargon might be complicated for you to understand as you're not part of this group. So the first sentence we're going to analyze is makes no mistake with the finish. So the word finish is our jargonistic word here, which we'll take a deeper look at in a second. So in this phrase, it is said after the Whitecaps score a goal. So the player was able to receive the pass and score a goal, aka finish. So the literal meaning of the word finish might mean to end something. So he finished his homework, he finished school. We wouldn't necessarily think of the word finish as meaning to score a goal. So according to Tim Frechette, the word finish refers to scoring a goal, and that is how we can understand the jargonistic meaning of this word. We can also understand the jargonistic meaning of this word as polysemy, as the word finish has multiple meanings dependent on the context, and it has the same spelling and form and pronunciation. However, the meaning of the word is dependent upon the context. We will then go into polysemy, and to deeper understand this word, we can understand it through Robin Carson's work when she writes, polysemy is understood as instances of a single linguistic expression having multiple related senses. Carson then shares that words typically have multiple related senses. For instance, the noun line has different senses in each of the following phrases. Although they are all recognizably related, a line of people, a washing line, lines on a page, lines on a face, a line of business, a fine line between hope and despair, learns one's lines. So we can see how the word line has the same form, same spelling, same pronunciation. However, dependent on the context it is used in, will convey a different meaning. However, it is a similar meaning. Okay, moving on to our next slide, we have the phrase, can he get the angle? And the word angle here is our jargonistic word. So, before scoring a goal, the narrator asks, can he get the angle? So, the narrator is essentially asking, can he score the goal? In the literal sense, an angle might be something we can measure, perhaps a 90-degree angle, a 90-degree triangle. We wouldn't necessarily think angle would mean scoring a goal. So once again, according to Tim Frechette, in soccer, an angle is a bigger area of a goal that is open for them to shoot in. So the word angle has multiple meanings and can be understood as polysemy, as the word angle has the same form and related meanings, as well as the same pronunciation. It's just dependent on the context the word is said in. To understand the jargonistic meaning of this word, we can consider angle as scoring on an open area. Okay, moving on to our next slide. So most teams have 3 kits. So this phrase, the narrator is referring to the kits the team wears. So they might have a home kit, an away kit, or an extra kit, and is just referring to a uniform. In the literal sense, we might think of the word kit as a set of something. So maybe a first aid kit, a sewing kit, a complete set of something. We wouldn't necessarily think of a kit meaning a uniform. We can also consider the jargonistic meaning of the word kit as the word uniform. This word is also a homonym, as the phrase kit means both uniform and a complete set of something. So they have the same form, pronunciation, however, different meanings dependent upon context. So we can think of this word as a homonym, and to clarify what a homonym is, according to Carson, a homonym is a phenomenon of there being 2 or more distinct expressions with the same phonological realization, but distinct unrelated meanings. So they give us the example of the word bat. So we either have a baseball bat or the animal bat, 2 totally separate things. However, they have the same spelling, same pronunciation, but unrelated meanings. Our next phrase we're going to look at is a goalie gets to own a clean sheet even though it was an entire team effort. So the word clean sheet is going to be our jargonistic word, and we will take a deeper look at that in the next slide. So, the word clean sheet in this sentence is referring to something the goalie has despite it being a team effort. So, the goal stopped by the goalie is something the goalie does, however, it is a team effort to not get scored on. So, in this case, the jargonistic meaning of clean sheet would be goal stopped by the goalie, and we can see how this word has different meanings as well. So, in the literal sense, we might consider a clean sheet as a clean sheet you can put on your bed, or we can think of it as in different phrases, such as a clean sheet of paper, something that is blank. So we consider this word as a homonym, as it has the same spelling, same pronunciation, same form, however, unrelated meanings, and it is also dependent on the context that it is used in. Our next word would be chipping up, looking for a player, and the word chipping here is our jargon word. So, in this phrase, the commentator was referring to chipping up as making a pass off the ground to another player. So this would be a ball going into the air to directly be received to another player. In the literal sense, we might think of the word chipping as breaking something into smaller pieces. So slowly chipping away at something to get it done, sending it away to be done with it. You're chipping off pieces one by one, making it smaller, such as these wood chips here. Maybe we're chipping off pieces of wood. This word would be considered as polysemy, as there has multiple different ways you could word chipping, and same form, same spelling, same pronunciation. However, it's also dependent on the context. The jargonistic meaning of chipping would be an overhead pass in this sport. Alright, moving on to football next. Our first quote here is short kick from players, so that'll be bobbled, players got it, and then the crowd starts cheering. This quote is taken from the Canadian Football League, and it is from a BC Lions highlights video clip. So in this phrase, the word bobbled is used to describe a mishandling of the ball, so not catching it. The literal meaning might be considered as a type of decoration, so the bauble on top of your hat. So we can understand the meaning of this jargon as a homonym, as there are many possible meanings for the word bauble. However, they are totally unrelated separate words. They just so happen to have the same form, same spelling, and same pronunciation. However, in the football sense, the word bauble refers to a mishandling of the ball. Our next word is touchdown, and in this sentence we have he got it, touchdown. So in this phrase, the term touchdown is being used to describe scoring points for your team. The commentator tells us how a player receives the ball and he later scores a touchdown. The jargonistic meaning would be touchdown equals scoring points. In the literal sense, we might think of something landing. So an airplane landing, touching down, or we could think of literally touching down. So we can consider this word as polysemy, because we have it as both scoring points by touching the ground with your football, or touching down with an airplane, or quite literally touching down. Both of them have somewhat related meanings, same spellings, same pronunciation. However, it is also dependent on the context is used to convey the meaning. So, according to Cartson, once again, they seem to argue that coinage could equal polysemy. So they argue there is a clear conceptual distinction between monosemy, the phenomenon of a word having a single sense, and polysemy, the phenomenon of a word having multiple senses. So polysemy is the norm, and even new word coinages, which start out as monosemous, typically become polysemous. So touch and down is consistent of two words, and they are put together to form the word touchdown. So this is a coinage of two words put together, and they argue that polysemy would also be the coinage of two words put together. And if we look at the etymology of this word touchdown, we can see that it is derived from both the words touch and down. This is strengthening our argument for the word of touchdown becoming a coinage and therefore a plus-me. We also have the next quote, he will go wide with it looking for the end zone. So in this jargon, it is used by the commentator to describe where the player is going to score points while they are running with the football. So the jargonistic meaning of end zone would be place on the field to score points. We also have the literal meaning. So we might think of a place, a zone with an end. We might think quite literally an end zone. We can understand the meaning of this jargon as a homonym. The word end zone has one form and it has different meanings depending on what sport you're talking about. So according to this dictionary, the Canadian Oxford Dictionary, we can see how the word end zone means both in hockey and there's one also in football. Both totally different things, same form, same spelling, same pronunciation, however, totally unrelated meanings. And these are my references. Thank you for watching.